Try reloading. I had to reload mine. Wow, isn't that weird? I've downloaded it. Did you report? Right. So it's on this website. Where is it?
On the website.
We don't have anything written.
Send it to you.
He emailed it to
Oh, yeah.
us. Yes. Andy, so where can I find that online?
I'm gonna put it up here right now.
Yeah, I'd like to live here too.
Government, finance, departments, finance, financial statements.
Got it. Thank you. Got it.
Like this.
Finance. I didn't see thought I was there. No, I drove through and I saw the work. So he's like, why didn't you stop by and see me? I don't know. I was driving through and I saw the work. I wish I got my clothes out.
Country Club. This week.
I have heard nothing from, because he just sent me an email, just of like their presentation in case they have.
Just want
Did you
you,
forward that to us?
please load.
In case they.
I believe that. Jason's coming.
Oh, don't whistle for your teeth.
Email
Into a mic.
computer, I hope it works.
Second quarter financial report.
Did you have a little iPad situation? Yeah. What's going on? I heard about it. What did you hear about it? Because I can get email. I think it's in my house. They think that I stashed it before the thing came from. Because you know, you pick up before the thing.
Okay.
And I don't know where I put it. So I just thought I would try. I didn't know he was gonna rat on me.
I get an email that says your iPad was used to.
Nothing safer here on the fifth floor. So nothing safer here
Oh,
on
I wish. That's evil. That's evil. No, I got like an email that just says your iPad was used. Ready, Auntie?
Mine was?
Well, I'm sorry. We'll talk
the. Oh, yeah, mine was too, actually.
Everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Troy City Council Finance Meeting. It is September 8th, 6:04, not too bad. I'd ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And how about Councilmember Conley Wilson lead us in the pledge? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I was hoping I didn't catch you with a mouthful of caramel. So Councilmember Gully was in OCMD last week and brought us caramels. So if you see a couple people up here, it's because they have a mouthful of caramel. Councilmember Gully.
There's a reason why I brought the caramel.
I figured that. Roll call. Councilmember Gully.
I'm still here.
Okay, Councilmember Figueroa. Councilmember Steele. Present. Councilmember Min.
Present.
Councilmember Conley Wilson. Present. Councilmember Soriento. Here. Council President Mantello. Here. 7 present, no absent. We have with us this evening the mayor. Thank you for joining us, Mayor. We have the chief, Chief McMahon of the fire department. We have the UFA, President Eric Wisher, and the moment for the second quarter report, Comptroller Andy Petrosky. Thank you for joining us, Andy. This evening, before Andy goes presentation, very quickly, we do have a tax certiorari ordinance. We have an appointment to the IDA. And then we have some additional work at Fire Station 6 and an added item, the Tri-Turkey Tribe agreement. So Andy Petrosky, thank you and your team for your work. Take it away and we'll ask questions as we go along. Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Kind of get right into it. General fund revenues. Totaled $33.2 million at the end of the second quarter, an increase of 8% from last year. 40% of the budget recognized to date. Property taxes, and I apologize if some of this is redundant for first quarter. The best way to look at property taxes is percentage of levy collected. What you see on the report here is actual payments to date. Collections were up 0.5% from 2021. Collections in July, to my understanding, were strong as well. That evidence will show in the third quarter report, but it is my understanding that collections were on par with prior year. A lot of that has to do with the increased escrow payments that we have seen over the last several years. Local sources, $7.5 million, an increase of over $1 million, 17% from last year. That is first quarter sales tax primarily, which saw a substantial increase. Only 35.
Andy, I apologize. On property taxes, I do apologize. You said the increase, was that just due to more people paying or more people escrowing or more homeowners? What do you think?
We have seen over the last 3 years an increase in escrow payments,
Okay.
which is to be expected with where interest rates were on home purchases and refinances. It's up 0.5% in comparison to the levy, each year's levy year for 21 to 22. It is on track to say that somewhere between 97 and 90, I would imagine around a 97% collection rate at the end of the year, which is consistent with that of the prior year. Collections were stronger in the second quarter in 22 than they were in 21. At the end of the first quarter, if I remember right, collections were down a little less than 1% levy comparison. So second quarter was better.
And if council members have questions, just obviously go through the chair and Andy will be happy to answer.
So local sources, the 35.81% of the budget recognized to date is not of a concern at this point in time. Only 1 quarter of sales tax is recognized through the end of the city's second quarter. 1 quarter is recognized in the third quarter and 2 quarters are recognized in the fourth quarter. That is the wonderful world of accounting, I'll say. Public safety. The decrease is last year we had reimbursable demolitions in the first 6 months. It didn't happen in the first 6 months of 22. It is a one-time revenue. It is not, the decrease is not a concern. There is some very good news in this category because it is already over budget. That is because of much better vacant building fee collection in 2022.
We've been getting a lot of calls. Yes. I did have a question on that, and I had someone contact me, and I'm curious, Chief McMahon, I was told that the fire department makes rounds regarding vacant buildings. Do you still do that? I know, how frequently and what do you look for? Thank you. I'm so sorry, but I'm so glad you did this, Sandy. Thank you.
Once a year, we send, we get a list from the buildings department. It comes to the chief's office. We break it down by different districts and we send the companies out in the springtime to take a look to make certain that the buildings are secured with the freeze thaw that goes on, that there are no building collapses that we're not aware of. If anything's found unsecure, we get a hold of the DPW. They come, they secure the building just to, it's all basic fire prevention stuff and building safety stuff. But it's only once a year and it's usually in the spring.
And it's all the vacant buildings that you receive.
It is all the vacant buildings. The guys do a great job. They go out, they are given a checklist. If anything is of concern, they kick it upstairs. We send out Deputy Chief Jared Behringer. He takes a look at it and then a decision's made whether or not to placard it or not.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Thanks, Sam.
Health revenues, which over 98% of them are ambulance billing revenues, have increased 12.5%, totaling just under $1 million at the end of the second quarter. Similar to local sources, not to be concerned that 43.59% of the budget's been recognized. Once again, there's an accounting component to this of how revenues are recognized. 100% of the revenues collected in every January, and about 50% of revenues collected in February are recorded as prior year revenue, depending on when the call date occurred. So what you're really looking at as a total as of June 30th is about 4.5 months of revenue for the fiscal year.
Andy, real quick, I do apologize. On the inspections, do we charge the homeowner for those inspections or no? The ones that the fire department does? No.
No.
Thank you.
Transportation revenues total $465,000. That is increases in revenues from garages, lots, and meters. Certainly an impact. There's a COVID financial impact there where the first quarter 21 was lagging. So it's tough to look at that category in itself year to year. Recreation revenues total $477,000, 35% of the total budget at the end of the second quarter. The decrease is just is timing of when payments have been made up at the golf course. Quite simply, there were payments. Some people, the same people who paid in June of 21 paid in July of 22. So there'll be a catch-up component there in the third quarter report. And the golf course will be winding down at that time. So we'll see a pretty accurate portrayal of how that category will end the year.
Real quick, I took a tour of the golf course, just so the council's aware, and very super impressive what they're doing up there, and I can't wait to golf. But saying that, compared to last year, Greg said, the superintendent, we had 23 rain days last year. By the day that we toured, because it was before this past week with a lot of rain, they only had 2 days. Unbelievable. So I do anticipate, obviously, the revenues being higher. So
As do I.
Yeah.
Intergovernmental charges, that is just the timing of when the Lansingburg School District paid their school resource officer fee for the year. They paid it in June of this year, which is why it's a little distorted there. Just generally that category runs around, as you can see, around very low until the end of the year when we do a lot of reconciliation work. Licenses and permits totaled 262,356 at the end of the second quarter. Decrease of 25%. There's building permits are lagging behind where they were in the prior year. It's something that we're looking into.
whoa, why is that? During COVID, they had gone down. I get that,
Right.
but there's
It's-
just a
it
ton
could-
of buildings.
Could be a
around.
timing of when projects have started. There's a lot of that. A lot of the construction permits are one time and have a lot of variability as to when they come in and get processed.
Yeah. Yeah, and Councilmember Steele said there's a backlog probably.
Fines and forfeitures, an increase, a total $455,000, an increase of 53%. That increase is driven by parking ticket collection. It is lagging behind on the budget because of traffic fines, which is being caused from a variety of different areas. One police officer is currently in the traffic unit. My understanding, they're getting ready to add more to the traffic unit. And some still backlogs, to my understanding, at the court processing tickets.
Council President.
Yeah, Councilmember Gully.
Andy, do you feel that a lot of the times when we go over there with these traffic tickets and parking violations that, well, the parking we handle in here, but the traffic, once they go to the court, are they reducing the fees or knocking them out? Are we not getting a good support at our judicial end of our system?
We have a very hard time getting information about the tickets just in general. We've tried to get back up. We get when the check comes, it's a piece of paper with a breakdown of what it is. It's nothing more that comes with it. Not a lot of detail we get with that.
We got to do a little investigation on this
That sounds
one.
kinda
Yeah,
Especially from a
because,
court system.
yeah. And this year I've talked to Chief DeWolf, there are more traffic. I want to say, traffic officers out there than prior years. And, I see them on Hoosick, I see them on Oakwood. It's definitely ramped up to prior years. So I'm really surprised that that's down. He said that they had 3 officers, in traffic. So I don't know,
Okay.
but we'll.
So it's something we
do
can look
some
into,
digging.
especially, it is something I am looking into right now because of budget preparation for 23. And it's one of the tougher ones to look at because it's been so volatile the last 3 years now. State aid, as we just, that discrepancy in quotes was the one-time release of aid to municipalities that occurred in 2021. As we discussed as part of the first quarter report, we'll receive state aid in the fourth quarter. Federal aid is the recognition of revenue as part of the American Rescue Plan. I'm just gonna, accounting with regards to American Rescue Plan will be discussed much more at the September 22nd meeting. So put a placeholder on that for now. I did not note it in the report, but the intra-fund revenue of $2.8 million, that is the release of MAC funds that was approved in June. That is where that is recorded. That was released from the debt service fund to the general fund. And as I noted before, $33.2 million for the total general fund revenues, an increase of almost 8% from the prior year, and 40% of the budget recognized to date. Are there any other questions about general fund revenues?
Council? Andy, you have the difference in the intra-fund revenues being 2.395. How do you get there?
So the 2.395, that's actual compared to budget. 1,475,000 of that is the budgeted surplus from the water fund to the general fund. The remaining balance of that is city held proceeds that are not MAC related of unused debt monies that sit in the debt service fund that get transferred to offset debt payments. That occurs at the time of the debt payment. So what you'll see at the end of the third quarter report is that dollar difference of $2,395,000 would then be $1,475,000. That difference is recognized in the third quarter because we have debt payments that are made on August 1st.
Okay. And federal aid, real quick, I know you mentioned the ARPA and you have that as being 146 lower than last year?
So there's federal, no, the column that that column is budget to actual.
Right.
There's
Okay.
grant revenue that has not been recognized to date.
Okay. Okay, council, good to move on? Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, Andy.
Thank you.
Now the fun stuff.
I'll start at we'll just go right down. Permanent salaries, $11.9 million at the end of the second quarter. An increase of $1 million from 2021. That increase is from the settlement of all bargaining unit contracts in the 2022 fiscal year. 44% of the budget has been expended to date due to vacancies in various departments throughout the general fund. Temporary salaries, $312,000, 40% of the budget expended, 27% increase over the prior year. We had more money in the budget 22 for temporary salaries and general services, and that those hirings have occurred this year. Overtime for civilian employees totaled just under $128,000, just over 50% of the budget expended, $21,500 increase from the prior year. Increase driven by various departments, primarily in general services, having increased overtime, but also there's an increase from the contracts being settled itself. Fire department overtime, I just want to note this does not include the peak ambulance staffing that is funded through the American Rescue Plan. That is accounted for in a separate fund.
Which one? Yeah.
Miscellaneous special revenue. Totaled $877,000, 58% of the budget is expended. Increase of $196,000, driven primarily by the number of vacancies, contract being settled, and incidents occurring. Fixed assets, the decrease of $346,000, that couples itself with the revenue decrease that I talked about with the building demolitions. So that decrease entirely, when we do a reimbursable demolition, we actually appropriate revenues and expenditures separately. It's not netted down to one account. That's how we have to account for it. So you see the swing on both sides of the report. Materials and supplies, an increase of 41% of total, with the total being $1.6 million. 54% of the budget has been expended to date. Obviously, it goes without saying that the high amount of budget expended to date and the increase, a lot of that is inflationary pressures that the city is experiencing. There were also this is the first year of the annual payment from the body worn camera program, which is recorded under materials and supplies. That's another driving factor in the increase that you're seeing year over year. Repairs and rentals and dues.
Andy?
Yes.
Sorry, real quick. On the perm salaries, I mean, obviously we're not going to hit that 2022 budget because of all the vacancies. Is there a game plan to, put that in a contingency, or want to talk about that?
So my thought on that is probably October finance for November council to do a big transfer to move money around. And that's when we would prepare legislation to grab all of the salary savings. Some of them will start. The fire department, for example, we were working on one earlier today to reappropriate salary savings there throughout the fire department itself. The other departments and other salary savings from from fire would come later in the year to reappropriate. Is how I envision that going.
I mean, it's substantial and we all know, obviously, the tough recruitment out there in terms of staffing, in terms of employment, but we have several vacancies. And so, yeah, it is substantial. So thanks.
So there's a footnote on repairs and rentals and dues together. The fluctuation, repairs and rentals decreasing, dues increasing, that is from a reclassification of expenditures for computer technology, where for years it was recorded as a repair and rental. It's more of a due and subscription. So it was just reclassifying it to the more appropriate account code. Insurance, that increase was, as we discussed in the first quarter report, that's based off of entirely market conditions. Consultant services totaled $1,450,000. 39% of the budget's been expended to date. 31% increase over last year. There are 5 driving factors for that. The cost related to the emergency declaration to repair Lori Jean Place. The annual increase in the city's payment to the county for 911 services. Costs related to bond ratings done by Moody's and S&P in January, where we did not do bond ratings in 2021. Parking system upgrades and third-party tree removal services. The vast majority of this increase is consistent with what we saw in the first quarter report.
But that's all budgeted.
That's all
not-
budgeted for, yeah.
Exactly. I just want to make it clear, we're not over budget. We, compared to last year,
Compared to-
we're up, but we anticipated these increases.
Debt service, $4.1 million total at the end of the second quarter. 61% of the budget has been expended. Remaining debt service payments were made in August. The principal portion of them made in August. Decrease is $752,000 from 2021. That's from the MAC debt decreasing and then having its final payment made.
And Andy, I'm sorry, the 911, that's 2024, right? Isn't it? I I know the mayor has that number, 2024 or 2025.
It's either 20. I think it expires at the end of 24 with
1 year.
allowing it to continue on thereafter.
It's a contract.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps going up and up.
Health insurance totaled $5.7 million at the end of the second quarter. 44% of the budget has been expended and a 4.73% decrease from the prior year. However,
I knew
if
that
you
was
look at
coming.
the first quarter report, that decrease was much more and claims substantially increased in the second quarter. And I, at the risk of being a broken record, it is based entirely off of usage and is the single most volatile thing the city has as a revenue or an expense. Total expenditures were $32.5 million in the general fund at the end of the second quarter.
God bless.
Bless you. It's an increase of 4% from the prior year, and 39% of the budget has been expended to date. Are there any other questions about general fund expenses?
Yeah, and the health, I'm hearing like 20 to 25% increase for next year, maybe? Is that accurate or no?
We have not received our,
Just
we have not received our premium equivalent yet for that plan.
when will that come in, Andy? Usually November-ish?
Next couple days.
Next couple
Yes.
days?
The actuary that prepares it is working on it now.
Okay, thank you.
So looking at the recap, there's a surplus in the general fund at the end of the second quarter of $696,000. In 21, there was a deficit of $410,000, so a $1.1 million improvement in position from the prior year. There's a connection though to this, in that $500,000 of this difference is for council approved principal payments on bond anticipation notes from the MAC transfer that were expended in the third quarter. So there's some catch up that will occur throughout the rest of the year. It's the first time I've ever seen a surplus at the end of the second quarter. A deficit is to be expected. Obviously, surplus is very good, but there's reasons for it. There will be a catch up, obviously, as I just mentioned. It is too soon right now to know how the general fund will end the year. That is because of the amount of recognition of expenditures and revenues that occurs in the fourth quarter. When you have pension, 2 quarters of sales tax, property tax reconciliations, and then the volatility of health insurance. Any other questions about the general fund?
I think we're good. Garbage.
Garbage fund. Total revenues, $3.855 million. 76% of the budget has been recognized to date, an increase of 6.29% over the prior year. Garbage revenues in the garbage fund, water fund, and sewer fund are recognized as they are billed, not as they are paid. If they are unpaid at the end of the year, for departmental income, water rents, sewer rents, the general fund makes those funds whole. Just to note that. So saying that, the garbage revenue was recognized for the full fee billing, less adjustments at the end of the second quarter. Some adjustments were higher than what we anticipated for in the budget, but it was in a better position than that of last year when we were significantly understating projected adjustments based off. We've changed our methodology for 2022. I will note though that we are starting to get phone calls from people who went to private collection and are looking to come back to the city. Those are starting to pick up a little bit, of which they will receive a prorated bill from when their services start from the city. So it's something we are keeping our eye on as we go through the rest of the year. That departmental income revenue category will increase because that also includes bulk billing, violation billing, fair share billing, which will go on throughout the remainder of the year. It's just that the principal portion of revenues have been recognized to date. Are there any other questions about garbage fund revenues? Garbage fund expenditures. Permanent salaries similar to that of the general fund, an increase from 2021, but a low percentage of the budget expended from salary increases as the increase vacancies for the percentage of the budget expended. Materials and supplies, that increase, the category totaled $72,000 with a $25,000 increase. $16,000 of that increase is attributable to vehicles, primarily gas. If you break that down farther, there's an inflation component to it. There's also, the city installed an electronic keypad system so that we can better track what departments are using gas as opposed to the paper-based system we used for years. And we're now seeing an increase of who's using more gas than we thought for years. So we'll have more accurate numbers moving forward into the future. Tipping fees have decreased $21,000 from the prior year, totaling $371,000 at the end of the second quarter. 39% of the budget has been expended to date. That is, there is a decrease in the tonnage of tip fees through June 30th.
More people are recycling.
More people are on vacation.
I know, I was trying to be positive.
Come on.
So-
Thank you for a change.
Footnote 4 in the report with regards to insurance and health insurance, refer back to the general fund note. And then 5, consultant or training, that is where the purchase of the Recollect software was purchased out of in 2022, which is the cause for the $10,000 expense and the increase of $9,600 from the prior year. Total expenditures were $1,969,000. 39% of the budget has been expended, and a 9.67% increase from the prior year. At the end of the second quarter, the garbage fund had a surplus of $1.886 million, an increase of $55,000 from the prior year. The surplus is driven by the revenue recognition of the whole fee being billed for the fiscal year. So that will now tighten as the year goes on, as we recognize more expenditures. Any other questions about the garbage fund?
Okay.
Water fund. And there is an anticipation that revenues in the water fund and the sewer fund will substantially increase in the third and fourth quarters based off of the summer, the lack of rain in the summer. So I just want to note that as we go through this, that this is both in talking with Chris Whalen, there is a significant expectation these are about to increase. The city water sales total $1.8 million, an increase of 10% from the prior year. That is from the rate increase that was approved as part of the prior year budget and increased usage even before the summer months. 41% of the budget has been recognized to date as revenue. We recognize a substantial amount of revenue in the fourth quarter with the way the billing calendar works. 41% knowing how much we're going to bill in the fourth quarter plus the summer months. It's not unreasonable to think that the budget number will be recognized in 2022.
And Andy and I talked about the outside, so maybe you could
I-
get, perfect, thank you.
The outside community sales totaled $2.4 million at the end of the second quarter. 35% of the budget recognized to date, a 6% decrease from the prior year. The last time I'll bring this, the summer months, let's see where the budget number falls in the fourth quarter when we bill them. The decrease. The glass half full look at this is that Waterford Half Moon's bill increased in the second quarter from the prior year, which is the first time we've seen that in 3 or 4 years. Menands' revenue decreased, and we looked into it, and we have found out that Menands did a meter replacement program in which they discovered a substantial amount of leaks, and they have fixed the leaks, and now we're seeing their revenue be right-sized, which is called the decrease in their bill is the right sizing of their revenues.
Sure.
Councilmember Gully.
Andy, you might not have this question, but are we saying that we bill them based on the meter that they have in the homes and then we take account from that? Or do we have a meter that shows how much we send across the Hudson?
We have a meter on for all the outside communities, there's a meter at the point of where they take over.
Right.
That's where it gets measured from.
So everything we sent across, we got paid for from them.
Yes.
So those leaks are on them.
Well,
Well,
we're
we're
getting
seeing
the
it because now
revenue.
Menands is now using less water because they have fixed their leaks. So
Ah,
Menands is
I
getting
get it.
less
I
revenue,
get it.
but they're paying us less as
Everybody
well. It's a
makes-
ripple effect backwards to both communities.
I get it. I
We're
get
gonna
it.
have a talk with that. Right.
Time to raise the bill.
Andy's on it, and Chris.
Oh, we can't.
I mean, because they have some new apartments over there, the lofts. I mean, they've had some development, so I was surprised to hear that.
The interfund revenues at $2 million, that's the recognition of revenue being transferred back from the capital projects fund for the closed capital projects that were approved, I believe, in May or June. Total revenues were $6.6 million, an increase of $1.8 million. Revenues in total, when you take out the interfund revenue change, are almost identical to that of the prior year. 46% of the total budget has been recognized to date. Water expenditures. Permanent salaries, $1.4 million, same situation as the general and garbage funds, and that is the same scenario in the permanent and the sewer fund as well. Materials and supplies, an increase of $202,000 total, with the grand total of $745,000, driven by the cost of chemicals and the rising inflationary pressure that Chris has seen there throughout the fiscal year. 29% of the budget has been expended to date. A lot of that has to do with the budget transfer that was approved earlier this year to purchase pipe for the following year, which has been ordered but not paid to date. Printing and advertising total $4,100. That's just the timing of when related materials were purchased in this fiscal year. Insurance and health insurance for the same footnote as the general fund. Expenditures total $4.6 million at the end of the second quarter. 32% of the budget's been expended, an increase of $364,000 or 8.5%. There's currently, as of June 30th, a $2 million surplus in the water fund, an increase of $1.5 million from the prior year. That increase is from the closing out of those capital projects itself. And finally, the sewer fund. Total revenue is almost identical to that of the prior year, just under $1.7 million. As the sewer rate is tied to the water rate, we'll see how that moves forward once we pick up reads from the summer months in the third and fourth quarter itself. Total revenues just under $1.8 million, a $30,000 increase from the prior year, and 42% of the budget has been recognized to date. For expenditures, materials and supplies totaled $105,000, an increase of $46,000 from the prior year. That was driven by the timing in the first. They purchased a lot of materials in the first quarter, and then sewer fund is faced with inflationary pressures as well. Total expenditures were $1.1 million, an increase of $118,000, and 26% of the budget has been recognized to date. A low budget percentage has been recognized with the pending transfer to the capital projects fund at the end of the fourth quarter for the CSO project. And there is currently a $656,000 surplus in the sewer fund, a decrease of $87,500 from the prior year because of increased costs.
Very good. Andy, real quick, I was contacted by the county sewer folks. They're sending me an email. I won't get into it now, but just full disclosure, apparently over the last year, there's been some discussion. Does the county owe the city money? Does the city owe the county money regarding sewer? I'm not sure. They're sending me correspondence. I just want to give you, the mayor, Rick, a heads up. They did contact me and council. I'm waiting for correspondence, but they said that the city hasn't gotten back to them. So just a heads up that, they're beginning to call the council. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Andy, as usual, very nice job, very thorough. Our reporting has just come so far. And for the new council members, honestly, the mayor and his team and the city council, since taking over back in 2016, really have overhauled the way we do reporting, et cetera. And Andy has been a big part of that. So thank you, Andy. Thank you. Okay. All right. We'll now let Andy just pack up. Thanks again, Andy. And we'll get into the public forum for the agenda. This public forum is for finance. Any item on the agenda only. If you'd like to come up regarding an agenda item, please feel free to come up regarding a finance agenda item. Okay, we'll get into ordinance 41. Ordinance approving settlement of tax certiorari proceedings instituted by Key Bank National Association on the assessment roll of the city of Troy. Councilmember Steele, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Men. I guess my only question on this one, I did notice that the settlement also has a 3-year freeze, meaning if there's any reassessment during that period, et cetera, that it will be frozen and any reval will not affect them. Is that the norm, would you say? I don't recall a freeze in prior certioraries, Rick.
Needs the mic.
Okay. Thanks, Rick. Just for folks out there. So it would hit them after that freeze. Understood. Okay. Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
Ordinance 41 carries 5-2. Resolution 102, resolution confirming an appointment to the Troy Industrial Development Authority, IDA, Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Men. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Gully. We have, let's see, bloop, bloop, bloop. Vacancy exists. Richard Nolan, who represents business, and now Jeff Betts will be the new business rep. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 102 carries 7-0. Resolution 103, resolution appointing a commissioner of deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Mantello is a council member Steele. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. One quick question. We did receive an application last week. Is that this one or is that a new one? Because I know a couple came in.
It was the same one because I
Thank
just wanted
you.
to confirm that I
Good.
sent it
Perfect.
correctly.
We have a motion. We have a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 103 carries 7-0. Resolution 104, resolution authorizing expanding the scope of the fire station number 6 rehab project and the additional expenditure therefore. Council President Mantello, Council Member Steele, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Council Member Gully. Is there a second? Second. There's a tie there, but I'm going to give it to Council Member Conley Wilson because she tried to motion. Discussion. I just want to say I did have a couple of questions on this one. Andy did call me. My concern was that the engineering, not C.D. Perry, and clearly this work needs to be done, but that the engineering did not discover this for the bid. So Andy and I did talk about this and stated that some things were going to change in the future, maybe. I'll let Rick weigh in, but hold on one sec, Rick. I'm so sorry.
Your concern is shared by everyone in the administration, especially the engineering department. This was discussed pretty thoroughly. We realized, it was such a big lift, we couldn't do it by a change order. We felt we needed the council's authorization. And I have it on pretty good authority that that engineering firm will not be doing a whole lot of work for the city of Troy in the future until they get some personnel who can look at things more carefully.
Fair enough. And I wholeheartely agree, and I appreciate your candidness. I appreciate Andy being very frank. Aaron was very upfront. I certainly am in agreement. Anything the council can do if we need to amend anything for future RFPs, whatever procurement, I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Conley Wilson.
I'm just happy that this work is being done. This firehouse is really important for my district. A lot of constituents vote there. So I'm really happy that this is being done, and our firefighters absolutely deserve to have a really great and suitable, decent place to do their work.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this,
Definitely.
despite the problems that we have to have
Yeah.
arising here.
Yeah, and totally for the record, that's why I sponsored it. Councilmember Sion, totally in agreement of the work, the value, the historical significance, obviously public safety. But certainly the RFP had some flaws, and the engineering firm, we definitely need to take second looks at in the future. So thank you again to the administration, Rick specifically and Aaron. Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 104 carries 7-0. Resolution 105, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Special Event Promotions LLC for the management of the annual Troy Turkey Trot. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Gully, who runs this every year. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Figueroa. I did just want to say thank you, Rick, for expediting this. George Regan contacted me earlier in the week. He was a little concerned about the timeline. It's all good. Thank you for working on this. Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 105 carries 7-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, and we will be going into the regular meeting at 7 p.m. just for
I missed you. I missed everybody at this, I missed everybody at the plastic table. Oh, is that on?
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September regular meeting of the Tri-State Council. Before we begin, Councilmember Soriento had a very nice idea. Thank you so much, Shane. Thanks. Had a great, it's Troy Tap Water. Had a great idea. We did lose just an icon, superstar today worldwide. And we would like to take a moment of silence for Queen Elizabeth II. Thank you. Thank you. I would ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And how about Councilmember Figueroa? Lead us in the pledge, please. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, justice for all. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of the August meeting, which feels 6 months ago, feels like it was. Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. Discussion on the approval. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Seven ayes. 7 ayes, 0 noes. Motion
Present.
passes.
Thank you. Presentation of the agenda. We have a number of items. We have a number of guests with us tonight, and we want to welcome everyone. We love having a full house. It's so nice to see folks here, and as we continue coming out of COVID. There are a couple of key items I want to point to. We have a resolution for just a wonderful man that I met many, many years ago, incredible public servant. And his family is here with us this evening, and that is Pakisal, who passed away last month. We have a number of guests with us, a couple of good news folks. We have our independent redistricting commission, who has been putting in countless hours, and we have met a few times. They have come out with report legislation. They have done incredible hard work, and maybe tonight we might be able to finalize it based on what we hear. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. And we did have a finance earlier this evening. A number of items were passed that now are on the regular agenda. Without further ado, I'd like to ask the council, we are going, if okay, first to go to resolution 96. Maria?
Resolution 96, resolution recognizing the life of Pat M. Casal, Council President Mantello, Councilmember Seal, Councilmember Gully, Councilmember Figueroa, Councilmember Men, Councilmember Conley Wilson, Councilmember Soriento.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second? Second, everyone. I would ask Hackett's family to join us on the floor. Also, we're joined this evening, Tyler, if you could join us over on this side, and Frank, thank you, by Pat Cassell's very close family. And Lisa, do you want to introduce your family? Do you mind? Perfect. Thank you.
My mom right here, Mary, Pat's wife, my husband Don, my brother Dan, his wife Darlene, my brother Frank, my son Tyler, and my granddaughter Emmy Lou.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Cassell's very close family, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. I'd like to read the resolution, and it's quite long, and that's because Pat Cassell did so much for the city of Troy, for our county, and for the state. Whereas Pat M. Cassell was born in North Adams, Massachusetts, to the late Frank Cassell and Margaret Amlo Cassell, but grew up in Troy and graduated from LaSalle Institute in 1953. And whereas Pat served in the U.S. Army, was deployed in the Korean War, and upon his return home, married the love of his life, Mary Saldani. And whereas Pat worked as a butcher at the AMP to put himself through school at Hudson Valley Community College, and also worked at Nabisco Foods, service liquor, and wine merchants as a salesman. And whereas he later joined the Young Republican Club, becoming a committeeman. And whereas Pat began his political career as an elected official as a member of the Troy City Council, where he spearheaded the committee to erect Troy's famous Uncle Sam Monument and was one of the founders of Troy's Flag Day Parade. Pat went on to become the mayor of the city of Troy, the Rensselaer County clerk, and a New York State Assemblyman serving the 108th district, which included most of Rensselaer County and the towns of Waterford and Half Moon and the city of Mechanicsville. After redistricting, Pat also served the people of Albany, Greene, and Columbia counties. Pat was truly a bipartisan public servant who often crossed party lines to serve the best interests of his constituents, a true model. And whereas his accolades include the Uncle Sam Citizen of the Year Award, the LaSalle Institute Distinguished Alumni Award, the Brunswick Lincoln Award, the Father Flanagan Award, and the Lansingburg Boys and Girls Club Frank P. Kennedy Award. Many others, we're naming a few. And whereas Pat opened Cassell's Wine and Liquor Store in downtown Troy in the 1980s, specializing in domestic and international wines, many of his customers became lifelong friends. And whereas Pat and Mary loved to travel and see the world, saw the pictures, it was beautiful. They took trips across the continental United States, Hawaii, and Europe, and especially loved to travel to Italy. He received the honor of a lifetime when he met Pope John Paul II in 1996 on a trip with the New York State Italian American legislators. Pat and Mary spent their winters in their beloved Naples, Florida. And whereas Pat was a communicant of Transfiguration Parish, a dedicated life member of the Half Moon American Legion Post 1450, the Troy Knights of Columbus, and the BPOE Elks 141 Troy, and 2556 Brunswick. I don't know how he had time to be. Whereas Pat's beloved family was his pride and joy. And you can see it here tonight, part of, his grandchildren. His loving wife of 63 years, Mary, their 3 children, Daniel's wife, Darlene, Lisa Fame, Don Fame, and Frank Cassell and Carol. 10 grandchildren whom we love more than anything in the world. Matthew Fain, Brittany Chaffee, Michael, Brent Fain, Derek Fain, Tyler Fain, Eliza, Alyssa Otis, Rick, Julia Cassell, Lisa Youngs, Corey, Leah Cassell, and Patrick Cassell, and 10 grandchildren, Ricky William, Annalise, and Barrett Otis, Michael and Marianne Chaffee, Grace and Derek Fain, and Emmy Lou and Donald Fain. His younger siblings, Robert Cassell, his wife Rosemary, John Cassell, his wife Beth, and Kathleen Kindinger, thank you, so sorry, and her husband Tom, and many in-laws, nieces, nephews, cousins, and friends. And whereas Pat M. Cassell died on Friday, August 5th, 2022 at home, surrounded by his adoring family, he will be remembered as a man of integrity, a gentleman, one of the classiest men I've ever known, loving, genuine, humble, and faithful man. Pat's family and all who knew him will miss him dearly. Now therefore be it resolved that the Troy City Council pause in its deliberations to reflect upon the honorable life and wonderful contributions of Pat M. Cassell to his family, his friends, and the city he loved. I quickly just want to add, I got to know Pat when I was in my early 20s. I met him down. My very best friend worked for Troy Uniform, which is right next door to Cassell Liquor. And I got to meet Dan, and I met your dad. And lo and behold, I started working for a state senator. They said, oh, attend a fundraiser. One of the first people I met was Pat. I was asked to run at a very young age. Your dad, your grandfather, he believed in me and he backed me at a very young age. And I'll never ever forget, he sponsored a fundraiser for me up at Prospect Park. It was a barbecue. And your dad was just someone that I think every elected official wants, strives to become. He put politics aside for the better interests of the city, the state, the county. No one will ever be able to fill Pat Cassell's shoes, but we can strive to be like Pat Cassell. And I am just so grateful to know your dad, to know your husband, to know your grandfather, and I'm honored to sponsor with the council this resolution this evening. So thank you so much for sharing Pat with us. And he taught me a lot at a very young age, and I hope I can exemplify his attributes. Thank you. Sue?
There's not much more, I guess, I can say after that. The resolution summed up. It was my great honor to have known him as county clerk and as assemblyman as well. I was at the county at the same time, county auditor, working for chairman of the Ledge, Joe Manupel at the time, and then through the years at the Boys Club and so forth and so on. It's hard to put into words. But what I want to hope that everyone takes away is that Pat was of a generation that made politics an honorable business. And as has been alluded, it was bipartisan. You were proud. Your word was your bond. And that is a legacy that I hope this family carries with you as you leave here. He was a gentleman, and he was a true Trojan who loved his city and obviously loved his family greatly. But he'll be terribly missed. But the legacy, the foundation he built, lives on in each of you. And so, thank you for being here tonight.
And just very quickly, I think Tyler said it best. Real quick, I walked through the line for Pat's viewing and I turned to Tyler and he said, Oh, don't worry, he's gonna keep us out of trouble. So I imagine Pat took care of the grandchildren and kept them out of trouble, but said, oh, don't worry, he's looking down, he's keeping us out of trouble. So I would like to present.
I know.
All right. Ready? Say copy on three. 1, 2, 3.
Copy.
That's the liquor store. Those are some, we should call that.
Sorry, my hands are so full. Did you? I have to, my feet are absolutely numb. I just want to say my feet are numb. Next time I'm going to wear white socks. Yeah. Small world is right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to move because my feet are numb. I just want you to know.
Quickly, the council will now take a vote. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 96 passes.
Thank you again to the Casal family. Thank you. All right, we have some really neat people with us this evening. And the first one we would like to ask to come up is Reverend Jackie Robinson Sr. and his family. Please, come on up here. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Reverend. Good to see you. Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. 40 below in here, that's why.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hey, how are you? Awesome. All right, if we could ask the Reverend's family, come on up, please. You don't get, Seamus will grab your phone if you'd like. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, how are you? Okay, yes, sorry. Good to see you. Here, do you want a chair? Yeah, we can get a chair. Can we get Seamus? He's got it. Too. No chair? Okay. No chair. No chair. I like that. No chair. Here, come on over here. No, come on over here. Shane, can you help me? Here you go. Come on over here. We'll leave it now. Beautiful.
I want you to surround us like the ray of sunshine, you guys. We look good when you're on both sides.
Back up. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome, I think I gotta stand forward. We need to back up more. There we go. Okay. We'll just move back a little here. All right, so everyone, let's welcome Reverend Jackie Robinson and his family. And Reverend, would you like to introduce your family? Thank you.
Thank you. To my right is my daughter, Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, yes. Immediately to my left is my wife of 50 years. Catherine Robinson. And this is a member of our church, good member of our church, chairman of our trustee ministry, Deaconess Sheena Keels. And behind her is Deaconess Melanie Davis, who's also the financial secretary of our church. And to her left is Leonard Davis, Deacon Leonard Davis, my right hand. Across the way to my right, my aunt Flora Carr. Big fan of Pat Cassell too. We all were. And to her right is Deacon Keith Gentry, Deacon of our church. And immediately to his right is Sister Lumilla Frazier, president of our ushers ministry of our church.
Thank you so much. And I must tell you, this is all on your daughter, Tiffany. And I must just take a moment, as someone who lost her dad this year in May, it was very special. And when Tiffany contacted me, it really hit my heart. And Reverend, you have a very, very, very special daughter. Okay. So why are we here? Well, we're here because Reverend Jackie Robinson is here. Okay, but whereas Reverend Jackie Robinson Sr. founded Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church in the city of Troy, New York, 41 years ago. You ready for this? On the act of faith with only 8 others. I mean, that's incredible. And whereas Reverend Robinson graduated from the Hartford Theological Seminary in Hartford, Connecticut, and the Brunswick Theological Seminary in Troy, New York. And whereas Reverend Robinson is involved in his community serving on the Troy Area United Ministries, TOM. And whereas he has served on the African American Pastoral Alliance Incorporated, where he has served as the vice president. Thank you. And whereas he currently works as a civil rights activist. Thank you so much, Reverend Robinson, to ensure that all of the citizens of Troy are treated fairly and equally. Thank you. I just And whereas Reverend Robinson is known throughout the Capital Region as a humble servant, ready and willing to serve where he can. And whereas the City Council would like to commend the pastor for his 41 years of dedication to Troy's spiritual community and our city as a whole. Thank you, Reverend Robinson. Now, back when I was a council member in my late 20s, early 30s, I met Reverend Robinson at a very young age. And I just want to thank the Reverend for all your work, all your passion, all your dedication, sticking it out. I can only imagine the challenges, the obstacles, starting it with 8 people financially, your clergy. Just thank you for everything that you do for Troy and the Capital Region. On behalf of the City Council, we want to commend you on your 41 years. Another 41 is in store for you. You have a beautiful, thank you. You have a beautiful family and any person related to Flora Carr is a saint, okay? But Reverend, if you could speak and just tell us about those challenges and obstacles and 41 years later. Thank you.
Wow. Well, let me just start by saying I just want to thank God for making this possible. Today has been the longest day in my life. It seemed as though the clock was going counterclockwise. So, as I anticipated this moment and what I would say. And the most profound thing I came up with is thank you. My heart is full of gratitude and thanksgiving for what you do here tonight, because you didn't have to do it, but you did. Well, I am honored to be honored by you and by the city council. And yes, it has been challenging. It's been difficult at times, but I would do it all again. Because that was God's purpose for my life. And I thank you for the accolades. I thank you for the encouraging words. But when it's all said and done, I really want to hear Jesus say, well done. Thy good and faithful servant. Thank you. Yes.
And we know that Reverend Robinson can't do what he does without his family. So Catherine, thank you for sharing. The Reverend, thank you. And Tiffany, I know you want to say something. Come on.
Oh,
You
Jesus,
got it.
no,
Come on.
no.
Come on, girl.
Before she said, because I gotta go home. When I leave here, this wife, yes, this wife has stuck by me for 50 years, and all 41 years as pastor of the church. And everything I experienced, everything I went through, she went through. And she stood by me. So I just want to say publicly, I say it privately all the time. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you for being who you are and for setting this time aside, not only for my pastor, but for others as well. It's unique. I love Troy. I grew up here. And so congratulations to my pastor. We celebrated last week his actual anniversary at the church. And he's worthy of the honor. And we're still working on that sign, right? We're working on the sign? Okay. So thank you all. Thank you all so much.
And Tiffany, who would be able to call my pastor my father? It's so unique. You're so blessed. So congratulations and thank you, Reverend Robinson. Thank you to your family. Thank you to your clergy. Real quick, your right hand. Want to say anything, right hand?
You guys must not be ready to go home yet. Well, he certainly is a diamond in the rough. He's a jewel to have in the community. And so I'm certainly blessed to be under his tutelage. I know I am. So I want to hear God say, well done too, because he's truly a jewel. He truly is. And
let's give it up for Reverend Robinson. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can we get
And I'll go on all of it. Anybody out there? Okay. We got 3 of them to do, so don't, hold that smile. Hold that smile.
Reverend Robinson.
Ready, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Reverend Robinson. Well, all right, hold on. Keep it, hold it. Reverend Robinson. Okay, hold on.
Catherine.
1, 2, 3. What a group. Don't move yet, sorry. Okay, I got it. Got it. Got it? I got you. 1, 2, 3, Shaman. Get that together. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Doctor's yelling at me. He got out of the car. He just got out of the Gary just got out of the van. Just talk about how. Exactly.
Yeah, they don't.
I think Jerry. I don't know if we'll go back and forth. So we were outside.
Okay, folks,
Sorry to hear that, Eric.
Oh, wait, we're still staying.
okay, we have one more good news, ladies and gentlemen. I'd ask everyone to, if you need to talk, to please take it in the hallway. We have one more very important group that we'd like to invite up, and that is our Uncle Sam pageant winners. Please come up, please. And Alta. Awesome. Alta, can you join us? And if the parents could join us, the parents, please. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Deb, we're humiliating you and Chris. No, okay. I did want to make an announcement. There was a horrible accident out front that hurt, one of our community leaders, thank you, and friend, and he is in our prayers, but he's doing okay, Jerry Ford, and they did bring him to the hospital, and saying that just keep Jerry in your prayers, please. Okay, he was just hit out front of the Headley building. So be careful, please. Hey, if we could scooch right around. Come on, don't be shy. Come on, Deb. Alta, thank you so much. We have amazing folks with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the 2022 Miss Uncle Sam pageant winners. All right, let's introduce ourselves. How about how many years have you?
I think this is my 4th year.
Okay, how about introducing yourself and your court, and then we'll hand it out.
Okay. I'm Charlotte Lucarelli, and I'm Miss Uncle Sam. Oh, everyone knows. Here, take it.
Hi, I'm Dalen Bias, and I am Miss Preteen Uncle Sam. I'm Megan Christie, and I am Miss Teen Uncle Sam. Label Mary Ladrin. Three.
She's 3.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the Miss Uncle Sam pageant's 45 years old this year. And we have all our candidates except for young Miss Brooklyn Liebner. She couldn't make it today. And we hope to have a good year because our last Miss Uncle Sam was 2019 because of COVID. So we hope to have parades in the spring, get back to the nursing homes and do other community events.
And, Alta, just for the folks that are here, many of us know the history of Uncle Sam and how this all started, but, let's give a hand to Alta. Alta has literally done this
Since 2000. I can say that I'm the oldest mother of a Miss Uncle Sam because my daughter won Miss Uncle Sam in 1999. Another century.
And I can recall there were discussions because funding was tight, and you talk about challenges and obstacles. And Alta, literally, I don't know if you did it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alta actually poured in some of her own money. And I know that monies were tight. There was talk about maybe not doing it a couple of years. Alta kept this alive. Let's give it up for Alta. Thank you. Now on to our pageant winners. Want to introduce your folks?
Yes, this is my mom, Deborah Young, and my dad, Christopher Lucarelli.
Hi, this is my dad, Jerry Passanello. This is my mom, Tia Christie, and my dad, Michael Christie.
What's your mommy and daddy's name? Mommy and daddy.
Brian. Brian.
Brian. Okay. What about your mom?
Sarah.
Yeah. Well, we want to congratulate the pageant winners, and I know a lot of folks. Yes, there's charm, but the most important thing is your dedication, your involvement to the community, and maybe real quick, you could talk about what you do in the community, so folks know just your passion and how this really prepares you for later in life.
Yeah, we do a lot of different things. We're in most of the parades in the area, and we also go to several nursing homes at Christmas time and sing Christmas carols to the members of the nursing home. And then around Easter time, we go back and do face painting for the families of those members. And we just do various volunteer activities around the capital, Rensselaer County. Like next weekend, this weekend we'll be at the Uncle Sam event and just stuff like that. Yeah.
What do you feel it really gives you in life? Outside of like teamwork, what do you think it prepares you?
Kind of like compassion for others, and yeah.
That's awesome. It's okay. Just what do you think? What do you think it helps you, and what do you get from it in terms of just preparing you for maybe down the road in school and things like that, family?
I think it helps build up a lot of confidence.
Okay, and I want to know, what is your favorite part of being Miss 3-year-old Uncle Sam? Is it the ice cream? What do you think?
Ice cream.
We love you all. We love you. Let's give a hand to our Uncle Sam pageant winners. And, really quickly, I just want to say you can't do this without your family. And I want to thank, and I'm sure you all want to thank your moms, your dads, your grandparents, your extended family for everything they do, because obviously it's a commitment on their part also. So congratulations, enjoy. Thank you for your dedication to Troy, to the county. And on behalf of the City Council, we just want to once again congratulate you all. Thank you. So whereas the Miss Uncle Sam pageant is a lifelong tradition in Troy and Rensselaer County, and whereas the participants are young leaders within our community, and whereas we commend these young women for their volunteer efforts, and whereas the pageant reminds us of Uncle Samuel Wilson, a local and national treasure. And whereas the City Council congratulates this year's Miss Uncle Sam pageant winners. Congratulations again. Thank you. I'll hand these to Alta and she can hand them to you. Congratulations, and we'll get a quick picture. Okay, awesome.
1, 2, 3. Uncle Sam. Very nice. Awesome.
Thank you.
So Seamus, our legislative assistant, has promised ice cream at Snowman's about what, 9 o'clock on the house. No, okay.
I know. Yeah, I know. Would you text me and keep me posted? My guess is they're gonna have to consider. I just hope that's all. I mean, I don't think that's all.
See me when I do the swearing in and stuff, I'm like.
Yeah, please do.
How many years?
Those wives were saying. She's going to Albany Med. He's going to Albany Med. To be with Jerry. I said it was fine.
Yeah.
You know how close they are? It's like, Jerry's like this.
I know to school my son. My other son.
Yeah, I do. Because I
No, he had a rough, but I.
I think that's fine. I did. Yep. Yeah, yes. I don't think it doesn't pass. No, it doesn't. It goes down.
Yeah.
No, let him go.
His head is hurt.
Yeah, he wouldn't be here headlines. Thank you, everyone. And are we on?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And, you know, I know it takes up a portion of the evening, but we really feel these folks are so deserving. And it's nice to recognize the community leaders and volunteers and just folks who are really, they really love Troy. And I think that's the beauty of Troy, our people. So
Council
Sam,
President, I just want
yes.
to add that within the next few weeks, I'll be representing the council, and we're going to be honoring the Ilium Literary Club, who will be celebrating their 100th anniversary. And so they're not before us tonight, but we will be with them in spirit at their anniversary celebration.
Thank you, Councilmember Steele, and congratulations to the Literary Club. Thank you. All right. Next on the list is a vacancy list. It's quite large, and if anyone joined us in the finance, you know, there is a struggle right now to get folks to step up to the plate, and Employment has been very tough here in the city in terms of recruitment, but it's being worked on, and I do intend to talk to the mayor about a couple of the vacancy spots. Public forum, we'd like to open it up. Seamus, if you don't mind bringing the podium out. Public forum. This first public forum is only for agenda items. So stating that there's a second public forum at the end of the meeting that is for anything related in the city, the neighborhood, what you would like to talk about in terms of Troy. But the first public forum is for agenda items only. Okay. Would anyone like to speak on an agenda item? Okay. Ordinance 35.
Ordinance 35, ordinance amending the 2022 general fund budget. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion. I do just want to state that two quick things. You'll see a lot of items on here without debate. We did have a finance a couple of weeks ago where these items passed. There were items this evening also that passed that are on the agenda in our prior finance. And I do want to point out, Councilmember Figueroa, very, very close to the person, Jerry Ford, who was hit by a car, and he has run to Albany Med. So, so ordinance 35, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Ordinance 35 passes.
Ordinance 36.
Ordinance 36, ordinance amending the 2022 general fund budget to accept funds from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the purpose of gun-involved violence elimination. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Min. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Ordinance 36 passes.
Ordinance 38.
Ordinance 38, ordinance declaring certain city-owned personal property as surplus and directing the office of the city comptroller to sell or dispose of the surplus property. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion? Motion, Councilmember Soriento. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Ordinance 38 passes.
Okay, ordinance 39. This is our redistricting ordinance. We have our incredible, passionate, dedicated, energetic redistricting commission with us, independent redistricting commission. They've been working for several months, and I think we're close. They have potentially tweaked a couple districts, and I'll hand it over to Robert and Jill and Mary and Agnes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a bit shocked that one of our members isn't going to make it. We hope he will recover. We do have several members here, Robert Martiniano, Agnes Zink, Mary Sweeney, Blaze Hartley was not able to come, and I think Peter Keogh was not able to come. Okay. When we were here 3 weeks ago, meeting with the Finance Committee, the council president and some council members raised two issues. Under the proposed new council districts, the Emerald Greens neighborhood, including Sherman Avenue, was placed in District 5 rather than District 6, and they felt it should remain in District 6. And that a few small streets off Tibbetts Avenue, between Tibbetts and St. Mary's Cemetery, now in District 5, should be in District 3. The Emerald Greens change does not seem feasible. The commission also does not recommend any changes in the Tibbetts area, but it is possible to make the changes, and Dr. Martiniano will discuss that with you. He will describe the findings in more detail. And if there are changes made, we'll have an addendum to our report probably tomorrow. And in closing, the commission urges the council to approve our redistricting plan as it stands. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you. And now we'll invite Bob up. And Bob, I didn't realize you're a doctor.
Public health.
Ah, very nice.
Okay, so as Jill said, we looked at District 6 and we felt that, one, the numbers didn't work out. So when we looked at Sherman and Emerald Greens, we realized it would kick District 6 over the 18%. Additionally, when you looked at the geography and the topography, it's across from green space and across from businesses, and it seemed to not have the continuity that we felt was necessary. So we didn't recommend that. So as we recommended, we like to keep it the same. Can you bring up 5? So, or the 3-5. So Maria's got the map. So one of the things we looked at was whether we could do anything around the split between 3 and 5 around the
Cemetery.
cemetery, yes. And that includes, let's see what streets. So Euclid, Rankin, Wendell, and
Cheryl.
Shelton were all in the, we're in what we had in 3. And then below Wendell, Euclid, and Stanford were actually in 5.
Which slide is it?
I think you said 5, 14.
So what we're talking about here are these streets in here. These streets in here. So one of our thoughts was, so we looked at it a couple different ways. We looked at moving all those streets, including St. Mary's, into 3. We looked at moving everything into 5, but in both those cases, it kind of disproportionately moves population. So our thought was to take everything below Tibbetts and move it into 5. So that would move Ahern, Boulevard, Rankin, Wendell, Euclid, and Stanford all into 5. So let's see. So the boundary for that would be Tibbetts and then Prout. So we go up and over. In exchange, we would take the street between Tibbetts and Highland that bordered by Orchard and 15th and move that into 3. And generally, by doing that, we keep the population pretty much the same in the 2 districts.
I don't understand that at all. I think we just leave it the way it was. I think we just leave it the way it was.
So Tibbetts would go, or so I would go up and over, and then we drop a little right down here into 5. It's hard to see with these maps. But notice on this side, we would move this portion with the 5. What you got here is got.
I think it makes more sense to keep.
And again, what that would do is pretty much would keep the proposed districts pretty equal in terms of the populations and still look pretty rational.
Mary, I kind of like the first proposal better than the second, but what do you feel?
Yeah, I'm a proponent of keeping, as we first proposed.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's my.
I so appreciate you looking at this because, I mean, obviously, the folks on Euclid, Rankin feel like they're obviously with South Lake and Sickaway. So that's why when it was put into 5, I was kind of like, but now to like move all of that into 5, I think that's the proposal, right?
Right.
Moving all that, but what would you keeping 3.
So everything south of Tibbetts would essentially go into 5.
Fine.
And then we would take Highland, between Highland and Tibbetts, Orchard and 15th and move that up into 3.
Yeah.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the issue is that if you look at the cemetery, Stanford is a dead end and Euclid is a dead end. So what ends up happening is it just creates this weird block around the cemetery that there's not much you do with it. So again, our recommendation was to keep as proposed. While we know that it kind of splits Euclid in a strange way, we
I
also,
know.
you know,
Ah,
there's no easy solution
I
here.
know.
We just looked at it, tried to think of a way that might make sense or not make sense.
Council President.
Yeah, Councilmember Steele.
So, Robert, so just to recap, everything south in the original plan, everything south of Tibbetts, including Highland, Bolivar.
So in the-
all that will all
That-
be in 5.
So what was originally south of Tibbetts, which included Rankin, north of Wendell, Euclid would stay in 3. So we proposed all that was in 3. And then the cemetery basically was a demarcation between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
But just to clarify, so Tibbetts, south of Tibbetts.
South of Tibbetts and
Which would be Orchard.
kind of east of,
The cemetery,
right.
that's all in 5.
That was all in 5, correct.
Okay. And so the original
Which is
Half-
what's showing here.
Euclid, or wait, no, Euclid and them would be in 5. And,
But Rankin
So
would be in 3.
Euclid north of,
Rankin would be in 3.
right, Euclid north of Wendell would be in 5. I'm sorry, Euclid north of Wendell would be in 3. Rankin would be in 3. And what would be in 5 would be Stanford, that little dead end, and then Euclid south of Wendell would be in 5. So this is Euclid and kind of goes down here.
Just like one little street.
I know. I am very familiar with the area.
Chair.
Yes, Councilmember Gully.
Bob, I see we split Euclid Ave, right, almost like in the middle, right?
Correct, Wendell Avenue.
Was there any benefit to just keeping all of Euclid Ave in one, just that end of that block in one district and maybe taking a small portion out? So the whole street ends up in one district?
Well, the interesting thing, Euclid actually,
You want that many politicians going up there hanging signs?
Well, Euclid is a long street. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you're right.
It's got a hook to it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's a very odd configuration.
it's, yeah, there's no good way to do that whole area because of the cemetery, and because of the way Euclid is, there's no really good way to create a good cohesive neighborhood with that.
No, it's not a cohesive neighborhood,
Yeah.
really.
Well, I certainly want to thank you guys for the time and effort and the second and third looks at the districts, but it just seems that your first process was right in line with what we really have
Yeah,
to do here.
We believe that our initial recommendations made sense. We did want to give the council some options in terms of, especially looking at this 3 and 5.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, you heard us, you went back and looked at it.
Yep, appreciate that.
But in the end of the day, your work product from the start was excellent, and thank you for getting the numbers are spot on. I mean, really, so.
Yeah, and it's a little painful. I represented District 3, so I think, and I think, folks, we're going to have to educate folks on the new lines, and, that will be over the next several months, which we have time to do. So I really want to thank all of you again. I really want to thank you going back to the drawing board, and I get it, if you pull a street, population wise, you have to take it away from another, and, Councilmember Gully just asked who creates the map. So process-wise, maybe Jill, I apologize, the podium's in front of us. I can't see you, but process-wise, council, say passes this. Maybe Mary might know. It goes to the, I take it, the board, but where does it go? Secretary, what happens after that, Rick? After the mayor obviously acts and.
The way the ordinance is written, the city engineer, Aaron, will draft the map in conjunction with the committee. And just to make sure that we have all the right streets. And what we hope to have is a large wall map that can hang in the city clerk's office. And then the Board of Elections will actually assign districts to each council district. They'll assign election district. If I have
Gotcha.
anything wrong. That's how we'll do it.
Once it gets approved.
So,
and the
Chair.
maps From the Board of Elections, knows the outline of the council district, and have to see what election district.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
And then does it go to the state at all, Mary, or basically
It's
stays?
just, I don't believe it goes.
Gotcha.
We hope to have a digital map as well that everyone can get. And so that you can enlarge it and see exactly which streets are which.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Council President.
Chair.
Yes, Councilmember Gully.
Can I just, I noticed on the map, there's a lot of streets that split in districts. And I just thought that, just a suggestion, I was thinking that maybe where one district ends and you draw the map, maybe you might take that last address from that last spot, like D3. You might put just that address number on the map so they know where it splits. So they don't have to say, well, where am I? Am I in this one? If I'm 383 and 385, where am I? But if you put 383 there and they know everybody from 385 up will be in the next district, it might help just to put those little markers on the map that you create to help people out there that don't really have a lot of experience with this. And it might also suggest that you use less color over the street sign, and just so the streets are very noticeable, and just make the colors lighter and lines lighter, so that people out there, they don't have the background that some people have when they want to see it. They get confused. If we can make it simple for them, it may be easier for them to want to come out and vote. And I would like to do that.
Our presentation was software that we had found, the commission had found free on the internet. So when the city creates the map, they can probably lighten up the colors.
Yeah, I just think that'd be something good for people to look at,
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Council
And thank you
President,
for all you did.
I just want to let you know, there is a digital map online on the city clerk portion of the website where the city council is. And if you put your address in, it has your pictures and it has where you vote and what district you're in. So there is a digital copy that Rick was talking about. But
But all
Yeah.
of that will have to be changed.
yeah, no, I'm just telling you that it
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah,
It
so they
have
exists
that
as
in
of
there.
right now.
I'm familiar
Okay.
with that map and, who's your council
Yeah.
member, et
Yep.
cetera. No, that's awesome. And,
Yep.
Mary, that's the biggest part, is just educating folks.
Yeah,
And,
getting them out.
that's, people from Rankin and Euclid are going over to Conway Court, and. Oh,
Yeah. I have it.
oh,
Right.
yes.
Okay, I think.
Move the question.
Yes, I again, I can't thank all of you enough, and I really mean that. I know you weren't getting paid, and you put a lot of hours into working on this, and I get it, and just the time and the effort, I truly appreciate it, and it's very important to the city of Troy. 20 years in the making, so thank you very, very much.
Council President,
Yes,
in
Councilmember
recognition of Jerry Ford's contribution, I'd like to move the question to a vote.
Sure. Are there any other questions regarding? Everyone's good? Okay, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We didn't have
Thank
a
you.
motion.
We did. We had a motion. We had a second.
6 ayes, 0 no's. Ordinance 39 passes.
All right. Thank you again. Project.
Forty.
Do you mind just moving that podium?
Where's Seamus?
You can't see people. And just so folks are aware, the door is locked downstairs. I tried to delay the vote because I know a couple people are trying to get in. But saying that Seamus did go down to open the door, it's the challenges of being in a building that is not working after hours. Okay. Let's go to ordinance 40.
Ordinance 40, ordinance transferring funds within the general fund and within the water fund of the 2022 budget. Council President Mantalo at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Steele. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 nos. Ordinance 40 passes.
Ordinance 41.
Ordinance 41, ordinance approving settlement of tax
Certiorari.
proceedings instituted by KeyBank National Association on the assessment roll of the city of Troy. Councilmember Steele at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Men. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Nay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ayes, 2 nos. Ordinance 41 passes.
Resolution 96 passed earlier. Resolution 97.
Resolution 97, resolution appointing a commissioner of deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Mantalo.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 nos. Resolution 97 passes.
Resolution 98.
Resolution 98, resolution authorizing the hiring of an environmental engineering consultant to administer a grant from the United States Environmental Protection Agency for brownfield site assessments and redevelopment planning. Council President Mantalo at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion, Councilmember Steele. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Men. On the discussion, I just want to make sure that the engineering firm who's worked on engine 6 is not associated at all with this resolution, and I believe they are not. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 nos. Resolution 98 passes.
Resolution 100.
Resolution 100, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a supplemental consultant agreement for South Troy Industrial Road Project Phase LI inspection and support, New York State DOT PIN 1761.30. Council President Mantalo at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Gully. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 nos.
Resol-
Resolution 100 passes.
Sorry about that. Resolution 102.
Resolution 102, resolution confirming an appointment to the Troy Industrial Development Authority. Council President Mantalo at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Men. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion.
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Men.
I am extremely excited about this appointment. Jeff Betts is just an example of a spectacular business person, RPI grad, citizen of Troy, Lansingburg resident. He's smart, he's hiring folks. And you know, this is what we need for our city. We need people who are invested in our city, whether they're homeowners, business owners, or just passionate. And the IDA is really helping. A lot of their role is to help us grow and to sometimes have to make some pretty tough calls. So we're very blessed to have Jeff appointed to this position. And yeah, I'm excited.
Great. Hopefully, Jeff will keep an eye on the pilots.
Oh, yeah.
Further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Resolution 102 passes.
Resolution 103.
Resolution 103, resolution appointing a Commissioner of Deeds for the City of Troy. Council President Mantello, Councilmember Steele.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Resolution 103 passes.
Resolution 104.
Sorry about the last one. I thought I made a mistake
That's
putting the other
okay.
one on there. I was like, wait a second. Resolution 104, resolution authorizing expanding the scope of the fire station number 6 rehabilitation project and the additional expenditure therefore. Council President Mantello, Councilmember Steele at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Councilmember Conley Wilson. Is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriento. Discussion.
Council President.
Yes,
Um,
Councilmember Conley
I
Wilson.
said this during the finance meeting, but in case folks weren't here, this is a really important, just like institution in District 5. It served as a voting location, polling location for probably longer than I've been alive. And I'm really excited to see this work get done despite the RFP not really covering the entire scope of it. And I think, our firefighters really deserve having a space that is, up to code and is functional and safe. So I'm excited to see this work being done. It's unfortunate that the engineering firm that was originally on this did not see the full scope, what needed to be done. But very grateful that this is happening.
Thank you, Councilmember Conley Wilson, and I will echo that and just add once again, I want to thank Andy and Aaron and Rick. Future RFPs have to be looked at differently. Certainly, this engineering firm is put on hopefully the back burner and on ice for a little while. This is a huge change order, and I appreciate the Corporation Council coming to the council with this. I think it's very important that the legislative branch look at this and obviously address this issue and work with the administration. So, while it's painful, the increase and should have been caught early, it's necessary, it's needed, it's public safety, it's history. And as Councilmember Conley Wilson stated, it's obviously needed. So, further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Resolution 104 passes.
Okay, resolution 105.
Resolution 105, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Special Event Promotions LLC for the management of the annual Troy Turkey Trot. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Mann, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Just on the discussion, keep your eyes out. Registration should be coming, but I believe this particular firm was the only firm that bid on this proposal. So, seeing that, further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 ayes, 0 noes. Resolution 105 passes.
Okay, we will now open up our second public forum, and this public forum is about, are you concerned with things happening in the city, in your neighborhood? And we would ask that you state your name, your address, and or your municipality. Okay? Thanks. Oh, I do apologize. You do have 4 minutes. So thank you.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Julie Enright. I am a resident of Eagle Park, in Brentwood County. I am here tonight as a small business owner, but also as a person who cares deeply for everybody in our community. I know that the clean slate resolution has been brought up and also been approved and passed in several cities in New York. It gives the opportunities for people who have been incarcerated in our system to have a clean slate to start a good life when they are out of prison. I speak to you specifically as a business owner. I employ people at my recycling organization. Many times it's hard to find qualified people. Many times people don't want to work with, handling recycling items and so on and so on. I find that giving people a chance, even if they have a criminal background, to actually do a job gives me the opportunity to meet people who are willing and able to work hard, and who also can give and contribute to society instead of being discarded as human beings. So I'm surprised to hear that Troy City Council have had this in the commit. I'm not so sure what it's called, but I know that Steve has introduced it, and it's just been sitting somewhere. instead of-
No, just to correct you, and normally we don't go back and forth, but just so you're aware, the legislation has not been drafted to date. It's not in committee, it's not been drafted. The process after Councilmember Figueroa requests this legislation, Corporation Council will draft it, send it to the council president, copy in the majority leader. Then I, as council president, will refer it to committee, and then the committee can act on that legislation. But it's not even drafted to date.
All right, there is already a resolution that has, been passed unanimously in Poughkeepsie yesterday or the day before. Albany, of course, the whole city council has backed this. And many other cities in New York. So I just want to make sure that Troy also follows suit, because this is not only an issue about valuing human beings, but it's also a question of bringing people up to be productive human beings and contributing members of society when they have an opportunity to get their slate clean from whatever mistakes they have done in the past. We are all making mistakes. Sometimes we have the privilege to make small mistakes. Sometimes we are in a situation to make big mistakes. However, all of us have the opportunity and should have the opportunity to remedy and to become productive people in our society. And that is exactly what the Clean Slate does. I know that members of the city council have been sent this information. Otherwise, we'll make sure that they are made available again. So that is my spiel for tonight. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you.
I'm also here to speak in favor of the Clean Slate Tax and Ms. Mark Sweetie, 5 Sixth Avenue. I'm here because I believe in second chances. I know they've supported me, and I know they've supported everyone on this council at some point in your life. And I know that the power of a second chance is something that we need to enable here in the city of Troy. When we put this scarlet letter of a criminal record on someone's background check, what you're doing, you're not just shaming them for a mistake they've made in the past. You're hurting their future prospects. You're hurting their chances of finding a job and being a contributing member of society, and you are making it more likely, in fact, that they will wind up back doing crimes again in order to try to get by. The Clean Slate Act is an essential piece of legislation, in my opinion, to enable that second chance that people can move on with their lives and find work and survive and be law-abiding citizens in our city. I will also say in favor of second chances. I know I have seen of late both the City Hall and Troy Police Department posting mug shots of people who have been arrested in Troy for various minor offenses, graffiti or drug use. This was made illegal in 2019 to post mug shots of people who have been arrested unless it serves an explicit law enforcement purpose. I see no purpose in exposing mug shots of people who have been arrested other than to shame them and again harm their future prospects of employment, especially when these people have not yet been convicted of a crime. It's very important that we restrain from this moving forward. I would like to see this taken seriously, and that Troy PD no longer posts any mugshots with identifying information about arrestees, especially before conviction. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, Mark. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
You could pull that up if you'd like. Yeah, a little taller.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Roundtree. I grew up here in the city of Troy. I'm a product of a lot of stuff that happened out there. I've been not recently, but I was sentenced to 15 and a half years in the federal penitentiary for 500 grams of 2 kilos of powder cocaine. My guidelines was 5 years, but I got 15 and a half years. A nonviolent offense, you know. And since my incarceration, when I got incarcerated in the federal system, I didn't know what to do. But one thing I did do, I said, this stops right now. So I took it upon myself to rehabilitate myself, to correct myself. I stopped pointing the finger. If he didn't snitch on me, if he didn't do that, my lawyer would have did a better job. I had to look at myself because I played a part of me going to jail. Had I not been out there selling drugs, had I not been out there in them streets doing this and that, I wouldn't be here. So I stopped doing all that. I just started owning up to my responsibility, taking ownership for what I did, the part that I played in me going to jail. Stop blaming the cops. Stop. They didn't put me in jail. They just did their job. You know what I'm saying? So you can't get mad at nobody for doing their job. Fast forward. My out date is January 6, 2025. Today is September 8th, 2022. I came home May 18th, 2020. Immediate release. Federal judge, senior judge, Judge Khan, sent the investigators in to check on me to see how I was doing. The counselors in the federal penitentiary, you can look this up, it's in the newspaper, Times Union, May 20th, 2020, Benjamin Roundtree, COVID release, cocaine release. They stated anybody that deserved to go home is Mr. Roundtree because of all the wonderful work that he did while he was in here. Mentoring to kids, handicapped kids, stepping in between people who's getting their manhood taken advantage of. I went through some rough times myself, but I stood on my principles, what I believe in. That is wrong with what y'all are doing. So I stand here today. Since I've been home, I'm a facilitator for the Clean Slate program. I work with District Attorney David Shores. I mentor the children. I've been working with the state police, the Teens Night Out in Albany. I live in Troy, but when I first came home, because I'm a member of the Victory Church with Pastor Charlie Muller. I do a lot of stuff with him. Because when I was incarcerated in Albany County, I gave my life to God in 2013. And that was one of the best things that ever happened to me when I picked up that Bible. Because that Bible guided me and it showed me. There was something that I had smacked away before. Somebody said, you need God in your life. I was like, God don't care about me. Why he keep putting me in jail? Why God keep doing this? God does care about me. I learned to love myself. Now I'm able to love other people. So I have compassion, and this is a passion of mine, to try to save many people as I can from going down that road that I went down in my life. I caught a federal bid at the age of 48 years old. I'm 58 right now. And I'm living my best life that I ever lived before, because when I came home,
I'm still working the same job that I got the first week I was home. Second chance opportunity. And I work another job. I drive a shuttle bus. And I volunteer all my time. Whenever somebody calls me, I'm there. Oh, and I do Bible study every Sunday night at Albany County Jail with the Victory Church with Pastor Charles. You know, showing people that you can make it out here. We all deserve another chance at life. If God can forgive, everybody else should be able to forgive. Because ain't nobody in this world perfect. A lot of us start off this life in the wrong way. It's not how we started, it's how we're gonna end this life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to touch as many lives as I can by my story, my testimony. I don't want to see these kids going to jail. But don't get me wrong, some people need to be held accountable. Some people need to be punished for what they are doing. And all the stuff that's going on in this world right now, all I'm telling you, how can you be telling on somebody when they're trying to take your life? How am I caring more about your life than you about yourself? Tell them to me, if I get busted for something and I know about a crime that somebody else did, that's telling. But if you shoot me and I survive, you're going to jail. The police want to do their job. And this is the stigma that we have going on in this world right now. Because everybody don't want to be labeled a rat.
And Benjamin, I apologize if you could wrap it. Thank you, but your story is awesome and compelling as Councilmember Gully. Thank you. But please, wrap it up, please. Thank you.
I just pray that, you know, you guys just take this agenda on and, you know, get this clean slate, push in the right direction.
Thank you, Benjamin. No, don't say sorry. Thank you. Good evening. You could pull it right up. Yeah. Benjamin, he's a little bit taller than you.
Just a little bit. Thank you for sharing that. That was a very important story. All right. So this is not my area of expertise, but I decided to come in support of this act that the state has passed.
Your name?
My name is Jay. I'm gonna try and be fast.
Jay, what municipality are you from? Troy, in Troy? Thank you. What's your last name, Jay, please? Thank you.
This is not, I'm trying to make this fast. My union is not doing it right now. But there's a couple of things I wanted to speak on with this subject. One of the first things I want to speak on is the idea that this resolution was introduced and is stuck in corporate council right now.
It hasn't been introduced. Just so you know, hold on. Council member Figueroa requested the legislation to be drafted, but that doesn't mean it gets drafted in a couple of days. It just went to the corporation council in the past. Right.
And so what I want to comment on here is the urgency of what your community is asking you to address, and the idea that these delays are taking place is how should I phrase this? I want to phrase this correctly. It is unrepresentative of the people who are asking you to bring these resolutions to the table by certain days. And I want you to consider it. That said, the Clean Slate Act covers expunging and sealing records, serious records of felons throughout the state of New York. You gotta bear with me because I'm learning with this with you. And you gotta bear with me.
It's okay.
And this helps so many New Yorkers when ran through the incarceration system as sorry, you gotta work with me on this. I really
Don't worry.
it's not to remember.
Take your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's not to remember. As trade licenses, housing, opportunities, and many different other areas of I don't want to say comfortable living, but of healthy living, of societal living, of getting your way to middle class living. Those areas are denied people who've been released from the mass incarceration system. This also reinforces racial disparity as 36% of white people with convictions who have at least one, 30%, guys, bear with me, not 36% of white people with convictions have at least one felony, while 57% of black people with convictions have at least one felony. So passing the Clean Slate Act will improve living conditions for black people, for BIPOC people throughout the throughout New York State. This said, and other reasons why the Clean Slate Act should be supported by you guys is
It's okay. It's okay.
Actually, I really do not know much about the Clean Slate Act. I know much about why it should be supported. I do not know
It's okay.
much about how the policy works. But again, I mean, arguments on public safety and reoffending. I mean, the most important thing about that is reentry programs, welcoming, loving, and affirming community. These things keep the offending from happening. Not to mention in the Clean Slate Act, the records are now sealed until a person has been released from incarceration and spent a certain amount of time without reoffending already. These are important things to consider when speaking on if this act is something to be worried about when considering the offense. That's the info that I wrote down very haphazardly about the Clean Slate Act. I'm talking to you guys as always as the leaders of the community. I'm talking to you guys as always as the ones who represent the most marginalized, the ones who represent the most afflicted by systemic injustices, by bureaucratic governance and nonsense. Maybe I shouldn't, but I will. And to represent these people efficiently, to look back on decades of to look back and honor decades of leading marginalized and Black communities through the societal and racial injustices America's put them through with faith, is to then look at something like the Clean Slate Act and say very easily that, well, to take care of these communities, to represent these communities, to make sure that these communities are represented in the ways that they need to be represented, is to come out and support, full support of things like the Clean Slate Act.
And Jay, I have to ask you to wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you.
Every single day we go out representing these people who are going through. Every single day we go, we argue about whether or not acts like these need to be brought up to the electoral transparently. Our days that we fail our own. Again, the most important part about what I'm saying is that you represent the people in your district. You represent people who will benefit from the Clean Slate Act. So whether my knowledge on the Clean Slate Act is enough to convince you or not, what with your own research into the Clean Slate Act, seeing that you can benefit people who you said vote for me too, is more than enough of a reason to go unanimously in support of this bill. Unanimously.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Yeah. Yeah,
And
thank
into
you.
the
And
mic.
you can pull the mic closer. Perfect. Thank you.
And here it
Can you just speak up a little?
I don't know if the microphone is on.
It is. It is. Yeah. You really have to. I apologize. The acoustics are horrible. Yeah. There you go. Marie Heffernan. Yep. Got it. Thank you.
you are not serving a why should we follow you for the rest of the life? In whether it be a county or job opportunity, whatever type of opportunity that work is evaluated, then it should end with when you get out. And that's what
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Marie. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. Hi there. Good.
No, we need that
to record it.
for the public record.
You got that? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
My name is Charles Potts. I'm a business owner, property owner, and I also do a street ministry. I want to let you know on my street,
Mr. Potts in Troy, correct? Thank you.
I live in Troy.
I know.
84 Jefferson. It is beginning to get so bad on Jefferson, it's ridiculous. Drugs are going out of control. We need some more police down on Jefferson. In the nighttime. There's a lot of noise, for no reason. We have to get this thing under control because the citizens that's down there that's going to work in the morning, they're trying to do what they have to do, pay the bills, taxpayers. I understand that all this other stuff is nice and all that, but this is something that gotta be taken understanding. The foolishness is going too far on my block where I sleep. My grandkids come there. It doesn't take much for people to start cutting food with guns. If you look back on Jefferson a while back, we had 97 bullet cases on that street. This is foolishness. The violence has gone too far. Please, I'm asking you, city councilmen and women, to do what you have to do to get it right. Foolishness is it's not working. I have had confrontation with people in the building that I take care of, telling people to remove themselves from in front of the building. It's getting real violent. So I'm coming to you. It's time for somebody to do something.
Thank you, Mr. Potts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council neighborhood issue? Okay. We'll close the public forum. Just for the record, I do want folks to know, the council per se, we don't act on the Clean Slate Act. What is being talked about this evening is a potential resolution imploring the state legislature to pass the Clean Slate Act legislation. For folks out there in council, the bill number, if you want to look it up, I would read the bill. It's Senate 1533D, which means it's been amended 4 times. This past session, it did pass the Senate. There were, I want to say 27 members that voted nay, but look it up. It died in the assembly. It was not acted on in the assembly. The session right now has adjourned. They'll be back in 2023. So saying that the Senate Assembly, unless they come back for a special session, will be acting on this legislation, and I'm only passing along information as someone who works there, but saying that, so the council member Figueroa forwarded the resolution imploring to pass the Senate 1533D. So just for the record, like, we would not be passing clean slate legislation. So, okay. Ma'am, I totally understand. It would be a resolution though, imploring the state legislature. Okay, thank you. I've made it very, very clear. Thank you. Council Member Steele. Okay.
I would move we adjourn.
Perfect. Council Members Steele, motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? There is a 9/11 memorial, 8:30 on Sunday. I encourage everyone and folks out there, if you can stop by Uncle Sam grave 10 o'clock at Oakwood Cemetery on Saturday. Thank you. Good night.